I'm James Van Osel, and this right here is Car Con Carne. This week, today, right now, I'm joined by Brent Sopel. Brent is a retired professional hockey player. He's a former Chicago Blackhawk and Stanley Cup winner. He's also dyslexic and the founder of the Brent Sopel Foundation. He is working every day to empower and help dyslexic children everywhere. And if you want to see this interview in its entirety, please go to the Brent Sopel Foundation on Facebook or BrentSopelFoundation.org. Our guest this week is a dangerously funny, super talented actor, comedian, writer, director, TV host. You may know him from Community, or The Soup, or his stand-up, or Spy Kids, or Ted, or the underappreciated National Lampoon documentary A Futile and Stupid Gesture, or the White House Correspondents Dinner from 2014, or even Tiger King and I, even though we're trying to forget everything that happened in 2020. Sorry, Joel. As far as my kids are concerned, the only thing that matters is that on the CW Stargirl, Joel McHale is the original Starman, member of the world's first superhero team, the Golden Age Collective known as the Justice Society of America, the JSA. Starman is our guest. He is Joel McHale. Hello, Joel. Hello, Brent Sopel. You know, I was rewatching the Correspondents Dinner you hosted back in 2014, those simpler days when you could get up in front of a president and make fun of him like from 5 feet away. My lasting impression of that is, oh my God, I'm glad Joel McHale's still alive after that.
Yeah, well, nowadays, who knows? Yeah, I'm glad I survived that evening. Yes, no, I was, that is, at that time, you know, it showed you that how badass America is, that a comedian can get up and make fun of the most powerful person on the planet and not be put into a work camp.
Right.
And that shows you the level of power and maturity that America had at that point, and for years of that, and allowed that, and that was so cool. And I look back on that as such a highlight of my career, obviously. But now, and we knew, I don't care what your politics are, but if you can't take a joke, that is a real problem. And we saw with Seth Meyers when he made fun of Trump at the Correspondents Dinner, Trump was angry, which for a comedian, when you are in an audience, or you have an audience at a club or a theater, and you get to somebody and you actually affect them and they will not take a joke, that's a win for the comedian.
Right.
That's like, you got him. And Seth got him with what, and so he's, so again, I don't care what your politics are, and I will win this argument with you. That's not a good way to win an argument without saying I'm going to win an argument. If you can't take a joke, you have to do some serious self-examination.
And the reason why I bring the Correspondents Dinner up, there's a certain fearlessness I think you have to have as a comic, as an actor, which you clearly have. I mean, would you agree that that's part of launching into this world, is you have to have a little kind of reckless, we're just going to make this happen spirit?
Yeah, I would say so, yes. But I was always the kid that was jumping off roofs, and I've had like 7 concussions and a skull fracture. And I was the kid when I would ski, I'd be like, I think I can take that jump. And so, yes, much to my physical, much to Mr. Sopel's health as well, you kind of go like, I'm going to try it and see if I can do it. But yeah, with that, when acting or performing opportunities come up, I have a halfway notion that I can accomplish it, then I usually say yes. There's something I'm like, oh yeah, I don't think I could do that, but for the most part, I'm just going to see if I can do it. And that was definitely, I mean, the minute I accepted that thing, I was nervous, and I was like, oh, here we go. Yes, this is a big deal, and I need to start preparing now. And I've never been more prepared for anything in my life.
We talked about The Soup, and then there was the Joel McHale show with Joel McHale, which was unceremoniously dismissed from Netflix.
Yeah,
that format is so part of the Joel McHale persona, the Joel McHale we understand. Is it just a matter of time before it comes around again? Is it like Brigadoon, where we'll see you in front of a green screen before it's all said and done within the next 5 years?
Yes, Brigadoon is the greatest analogy. Well played. Believe me, I loved doing it, and hosting is I like hosting a lot. I don't know. I mean, it's one of those things where I don't know. Are they going to hire a 49-year-old guy to tell jokes about clips? Maybe, maybe not. But
You look 25.
see, that shows you how screwed up your eyes are from hockey. So yeah, I always love doing. So I always love hosting. Like when we were doing the New Year's Eve thing, I was like 3.5 hours live. Like I was nervous, and then as soon as we started, I'm like, oh, this is super fun, and I had a blast. So I've done enough hours of it, so I would love to. I always like hosting stuff. So as much as I love acting.
Watching you on New Year's Eve reminded me that I wish I had a Ken Jeong in my life. We could all be better if we had our own Ken Jeong to guide us through.
Yeah, he is one of my best friends, and there's nobody like him, and he just is one of the funniest people on the planet, and B, he's smarter than all of us combined. He's one of those assholes that's also an actual doctor. So literally for 12 years was a real doctor. So like I focused on one thing for 20 years. I'm like, did it. And then he focused on, becoming a doctor, and then went, all right, I'll become the face of Fox Television. No problem. Here I am.
Starman, you are Sylvester Pembleton.
Stargirl is the name of the show, but I am.
You're Starman. I mean, you're the dude, former Star Spangled Kid.
Wow, somebody did their Wikipedia.
Oh no! Oh, dude, no. How dare you?
This.
This is not Wikipedia. I've got stacks of comics to prove my nerdiness.
Bless you. Yeah,
I reject that.
Jeff Johns, who is the nicest man on the planet, asked if I would. I only appear in the show because my character got killed in the first episode. Spoiler: first episode, I die in the first 15 minutes.
And that first episode is nothing but fan service.
Yes, a lot gets taken care of in that first episode.
No doubt.
So I go back and like there's flashbacks and stuff, and I'm just happy to play because I've always wanted to be a superhero, and Jeff Johns allowed that to happen, and so I can't thank him enough. And I'm going. Am I going back? I might be going. You might see more of me. We'll see in this season. But that cast is fucking great. So
well, it's a great wholesome all ages type show.
Yeah,
like, it's really one of those. It's probably tween focused, but it's one that I, as an aging man, can appreciate. Like this is just an entertaining, and like you said, the cast is fantastic.
Yeah, and Lee, what's her name? Brecken. Wow,
Stargirl.
terrible. What?
Stargirl. I
can't believe. Sorry, Stargirl. This how drowsy I am. She's amazing. She's like 21, and I don't think anybody older than her could do it because the hours that she puts in are bananas. Like she works 20 hours a day. It's very impressive, and if I get 6 hours of sleep, I'm feeling it. And I remember when I used to just be like, I don't need to sleep tonight, and then I was just go all the way to the next day, and it was fine.
What were you doing when you were 21?
Yeah, I was definitely not as professional as she was. I was like pony keg or full size keg.
Joel, I was watching The Cabin with Bert Kreischer.
Hey, look at that transition, everybody. James Van Oskel.
Oh.
Seamless.
Keep the trains on time.
That's right. Watching you interact with Miss Pat. What's up, Ryan Seacrest? What's up, Lizzo? That made me laugh out loud. But it occurred to me that the comedy community seems very tight. It seems like everyone knows each other. It seems like the cross-pollination is all over the place.
Well, that was the first time I'd ever met Miss Pat, and the first time I'd ever met. I think I had met Bert Kreischer back in 2009, but we had no contact since then.
That's crazy.
We had a little bit of contact.
You'd have no idea watching that.
Yeah, and what's her name? Kaylee Kuko, who's such a nice gal and obviously very talented. I had a couple interactions with her, but other than that, I had never really I've never spent time with any of those people until that moment.
That's fantastic editing then.
Wow.
See, it's best friends. I mean, so Bert. So I say that, but like, it's not like Bert and I hung out, but everyone's aware of Bert and obviously his success and his brand and how good he is. So he is one of those people that makes you feel included and heard, which is a really wonderful skill to have. And so he's one of those guys that you always want to be around. So I felt very comfortable, and so when he says my friends, I was like, he's not lying. I think he includes me, and I love him for it.
Can we ask you the obligatory Joel McHale question?
How awesome am I? Very.
We know the answer.
Oh, yeah, we're legends. We already know you're a legend. That's how we're starting the show.
Statues being erected, guys.
So the obligatory question: Community movie.
Maybe. I mean, I've said this before, that before the table read we did back in June or May. I'm not sure. I never thought I always told people, yeah, sure, maybe, but I never thought there would be. But with the renewed interest of the show on Netflix and Hulu and every other streamer, Sony sold it to everybody, and it seems to be doing all right. That for the first time, I was like, oh, maybe we could, but we need millions of dollars. So that's the problem. Someone's got to, any oligarchs that want to put on the Community movie, because that would really help. But yeah, so I without any concrete plans whatsoever, I am not as kind of like hopeless about it. I'm like, maybe it will. Who knows? But I know that Brent doesn't have any money left.
No, you know exactly where we're into the ex-wife.
There you go. See?
Now that we've moved past 2020, does Tiger King seem like a fever dream from years ago?
Well, that was the thing that kind of fell into my lap because Ted Sarandos likes me, I hope he does. But they just, they made that offer. It was like 2 days before we needed to shoot it, and I was like, what is this, and why? And they were like, we need this and this, and we want to do a film. I went, okay. And the pandemic had just happened, so I was like, I'm not busy. And so I watched The Tiger King twice in like 2 days, and then it was very surreal to be talking to a lot of those people the next day. Literally, I said, okay, yes. And then on Friday, I watched everything twice. And then we were interviewing everybody Sunday, Monday, and then it was out on Friday. So that's how quick I think also Netflix wanted to get in before TMZ was releasing their own special. And they had interviewed a bunch of people for it. So they wanted to scoop them. And we had Joe Exotic to be interviewed. And then there was a COVID scare at his jail, and I'm like, are we going to wait for him? And they're like, nope. And then we just kept going. And then I interviewed Carol Baskin during the New Year's Eve thing, and that was surreal. That was the first time I'd ever talked to her.
No doubt. All right, Joel, thank you so much. It was a real pleasure talking to you.
Sorry I was so late.
Keep up the good work.
No, you're good.
Let's do it again, and I'll send you a it's over here. I'll send you a landline.
Awesome.
You still have that thing?
Thank you.
Still works.
Thanks, Joel.
Beautiful.
Thanks, guys.
Okay,
See you later. See you guys.